Flip to Freedom, episode number 66. Hello again, this is Sean Terry from the Flip to Freedom podcast, and we are on episode number 66. Now, I come to you from my car. Today I'm doing a car cast because I've been so busy running around, flipping houses, doing deals, talking to students all across the country, and rocking and rolling. So, if there's any background noise, I greatly apologize for that, but I wanted to get the content out there because there's a ton of great stuff going on. The market is absolutely on fire, and there is boatloads of money to be made. All right, so if you are brand new listening for the very first time, I want to let you know that I have put this podcast together for you to basically show you how to escape the 9-to-5, quit your job, get out of the rat race, be done with commuting, be done with the politics of a job, and basically live your passion and live freedom. And you can do that by flipping houses. And flipping houses is as simple as finding a seller, someone that needs to sell, and then lining them up with a buyer, and that's it. And literally, you sign a contract with a seller, and then you sign a contract with a buyer for a higher price, and you can make the difference. Now, I've done deals where I've made $3,000. I've done deals where I made $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, over up to $250,000 in using the exact same concept. So, this podcast is pretty much about, me telling you exactly how the ins and outs of wholesaling real estate, flipping houses, is all about. I am a full-time real estate wholesaler here in Phoenix, Arizona, and I do anywhere from 5 to 10 deals a month. I work with students all across the country in my Flip to Freedom Academy, and I try to share inspiring things, motivating things, but also detailed how-to information that you can use in your business to go out and increase your revenue. Now, if you want to learn more from me, you can go to flip2freedom.com, flip2freedom.com. You'll see a video of me on the front page. Just enter your email address in there, valid email, and I'll send you a link where you can download a free book that I wrote. It's a 129-page comprehensive detailed blueprint on exactly how to quit your job in 19 weeks or less. There's literally a 19 weeks step by step, and I've had people tell me that they have spent well over $1,000 for the same information that I give away for free. And I am known for not holding anything back, and I definitely don't in that book. So you can get it at flip2freedom.com. Just go there, and you can mosey around the site there. So, in this particular episode, we are going to talk about a strategy of finding deep discount properties that I have never talked about and haven't revealed. Now, if you are a subscriber on my email list, you have heard of this in the past week or so, and I have been sharing this concept with a few people, and I'll tell you exactly how I kind of tripped across it. But the beautiful thing about it is it eliminates a lot of the hassles when it comes to finding motivated sellers. So we're going to get into that. This new source of deep discount below market deals. I'm going to give you the exact kind of step-by-step procedure on exactly how to get these deals under contract so you can flip them. Okay. So, right. I usually, because I'm driving, would recognize people who left reviews in the iTunes. Went in the iTunes, searched the Flip to Freedom Academy. My fault. The Flip to Freedom podcast, and they actually submitted a review. I have a couple, 2 or 3 great reviews in there I'd like to read, but I'm driving right now, and I'm afraid if I read, I might be flying off the road. So I'll have to hit you guys up next week. But again, thank you so much for going in there and submitting your review. That really helps in the rankings for iTunes, and thank you so much for doing that. All right. So what am I talking about this new source of below market deals? What am I talking about? Well, I can tell you that I kind of tripped across it. I'm always out there looking for new cutting edge ways to find deep discount properties, whether it be motivated sellers, whether it be multi-units, whether it be commercial, whether it be whatever, finding new strategies to find below market deals. And I kind of tripped across this information, and I was completely blown away with it. So I started doing some research, and then I found a couple serious players that are in this space that are really doing phenomenal, just making buku bucks using this new source. So I picked their brain, figured out all the strategies, and then started implementing it. And one thing you realize about me is that as soon as I know or find a new strategy, I don't hesitate, I don't contemplate, I don't consider, I don't evaluate, I just do it. I just do it, get it done, and get it done as fast as possible, and implement it as fast as possible. And that's why I'm pretty much done with this idea. Now, what is it not? Well, it's not short sales. Now, short sales are a great way to find deep discount deals, but I don't do short sales. Why? Because they take 6 months, and the regulations with the banks and all that type of stuff becomes daunting. So I don't flip short sales. So this is not short sales. This is not REO properties, flipping REO properties. There is a good and a bad of REO, flipping REOs. My wife is a real estate agent, and she used to submit offers on REOs for me, and we used to do 20, 30, 40 a week. She'd be just completely going blind in paperwork, literally just desk full of offers that she was submitting and faxing and sending and following up with the agents and this, that, and yada, 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 yada. And she just got completely burnt out from me just blasting offers because it's a process to actually get an offer over to the bank and then getting accepted. So it's not REOs. It's not motivated sellers. It's not marketing to motivated sellers. It's not probate. It's not inheritance. It's not talking to sellers on the phone. It's not determining their story if they're motivated, which I do a lot of. Now, none of these are bad. There is just good, basically positive and negative of each of them. So it's not that. It's not note flipping. It's not judgment buying and selling. It's not seller finance deals like a MAPS program. It's not that. What else is it not? It's not... it's not internet marketing. It's not Google marketing. It's not bird dogs. It's none of that. What else are you thinking? I know you're thinking something. But whatever it is, it's not what you're thinking. So anyways, so the bottom line is I tripped across this, and I looked at all the pros and cons when it came to all these other different ways to basically get deals coming in, and then this way. And it's amazing because it's almost like I knew of this way, and I tried this strategy, but because it was so clunky just a handful of years ago, it was very difficult to be able to execute a successful transaction. Well, what am I talking about? What is this deep discount below deals that you can basically get deals and flip them and make huge profits on? Well, you ready for the drum roll? Here it comes. HUD Homes. HUD Homes. H-U-D, HUD Homes. And you can go to HUDHomestore.com and you can see in your area a ton of houses that are for sale. Now, HUD recently, I think it was within the past 12 months, revised their website to make the online bidding process completely easy. You literally can submit a bid in a matter of 3 to 5 minutes. I mean, it's amazing. And the beauty about HUD properties is most people don't even know the correct bidding strategies that you can use to try to get these deals done. And a lot of people don't even know that they even exist, or they shy away from them because of the preconceived notion that they're so very difficult to deal with. So this is why I love HUD Homes. Number one is you can submit as many offers as you want. It takes 2 to 3 minutes to submit offers. On the other side, there's no human. Like with REO, you submit an REO to an agent, you keep submitting the same offer or a slightly higher offer by a couple $100. Guess what? That agent's going to be mad. They're going to call you up cussing and say, what the heck are you doing submitting these offers over and over and over again? Well, one thing great about HUD Homes is it takes 3 minutes to 5 minutes to submit an offer, and you can literally submit it, and you can submit it, and increase your bids by dollars or $100 the next day if you don't get it. And there is no emotion on the other side. Either they accept it and they move forward, or they don't. So what we're going to talk about in this particular podcast is first off, how to find good deals, how to structure the deals, and then also what I'm kind of doing with these HUD homes and having fun with it. It's a blast. And it's kind of a newfound strategy. Now, I still teach, it's obviously wholesaling. I'm wholesaling HUD houses. I'm flipping HUD houses using no cash and no credit. You can do that. There's no resale restrictions like there is with some REO properties, Fannie and Freddie Mae, and short sales and stuff like that. You can literally flip HUD homes same day. You can do essentially simultaneous close, but you have to use transactional funding, which we'll get into here in a second. All right. So the benefit of HUD homes that are great, you can submit as many offers as you want. You'll know if you get acceptance within less than 24 hours of your bidding. There's specific bidding strategies that you can use to try to get the best deals. There's plenty of inventory in the marketplace. There's zero cost for marketing. You can literally spend not a dime in marketing and just submit offers. Now, what if you get an extra 1, 2, 3, or 4 deals a month flipping these suckers? Well, guess what? And if you make $5,000 a year, you're talking $20,000 a month flipping these houses. Now, this is not the only strategy I use. I do use motivated sellers. I do use Google advertising and marketing online. I use pretty much every aspect, but except short sales and REOs now, to get deals under contract. So I'm not saying not do those, and I'm saying because of HUD homes, but I'm saying use this as another source to get deals under contract that you can flip. Okay, so now let's get into it. Okay, well, first off, you can go to HUDhomestore.com, HUDhomestore.com, or just Google it. You can check it out. Go to the website, and you'll see there's a big green map. Click on your map, and what it's going to do, it's going to bring everything in your particular state. Click on your state, and it'll bring everything within your state. Then what you want to do is you want to narrow your search down to the county. So here I'm in Maricopa County. And then what you're going to do is then you're going to look on there, and they're going to have different terminology. And the terminology that we are looking for is extended, so investor properties. Now, there'll be a little drop down on the left-hand side there that says, you have investor properties. You'll have what else? They have just regular properties for owner-occupied. You'll have I think it's like charities and stuff like that, but you can play around and check that out. But what you'll see is that investor. So you want to click on the investor, and what it will do is we'll refresh the page, and you'll pull up all the investor properties. The investor properties are what you can bid on as an investor. You can't bid on owner-occupied properties unless you plan on taking possession and living in the property. Okay, so now that you have those, and then it'll give you all the investor properties within your current market. Then you can start looking at some of the deals that have been put up for a while. Now, what I typically do is I go for, there's another little drop down that says all price reduced properties. So the first thing I look at are properties that are investor properties, then properties that are price reduced, and those are the first ones that I will target. Now, I can tell you that HUD, within the first 30 days, they're not going to lower the price, and they're going to take bids anywhere around now. I can tell you they're different for every single market. There depends if the property's rural, depends how long the property's been on the market. So it's a method that you will have to test. But here in Phoenix, it's roughly 91%. If any properties are in the 30, 60, 90-day period, they're not going to take anything lower than 91% of the asking price, it seems like. Now, it's amazingly enough, you can actually make money still at 91% with these deals in this market, which is crazy, just because the Phoenix market is so on fire right now. So anyway, so now you're going to have all these lists of properties that are reduced, and there are investor properties you can target. Now, what I typically do then is I use a site called Redfin, REDFIN.com. Now, it might be in your state or might not. If it's not, you can use Zillow. And what you're looking for is to try to figure out how many days that the property has been listed. See, what's going to happen is that the HUD home site will say it's been listed since, it'll usually be within 24 to 48 hours, right? Or they're even going to put a bright red new button next to it. But what you do is you take the address, you put it in Redfin, you put it in Zillow, and you'll find out how long the thing has been listed for. Okay? Now, that will give you an idea of what threshold or what percentage you can offer on the property and might get the property. Now, let me first off give you the bigger picture. The overall strategy is this. It's just like REOs. It's a numbers game. The more offers you make, the more deals you're going to get accepted. Don't get discouraged if you make 20 offers or 10 offers and you don't get anything. You'll eventually get one. It's just testing your market. I would start off with properties, maybe start off at 51%, and then go maybe 56%, and then go 61%, and then go 66%, and then go 71%. So you're slightly above those thresholds, and that's 71% of list price. And then you're going to get to a point where you're going to get properties accepted. Now, I can tell you the first 20 to 30 offers I didn't get any of them accepted. They all got canceled. And I was going, oh, man, what's the deal? But I started just testing. Now, I have a special spreadsheet that what I do is I put in the offer price, and it tells me, I put a percentage, it gives me exact percentage, I back out costs and tell me exactly what I can sell this for. And I have a program on how to flip HUD homes and basically give that spreadsheet away for free inside that, obviously not for free, part of the course. So the bottom line is that you kind of got to test it, and you got to know, and don't get discouraged, and realize that you're just getting a feel of how your market works based upon the bid percentage of the asking price, meaning 71%, 66%, 91%, 88%. Like yesterday, I put a bunch of bids in at 88%. Okay, just to test to see, and all these properties were over 100 and I think over 90 days. So I put them at 88% to test it. Now, I didn't get any of them. So I'm going to go back and put it at 89%. And I'm just going to start testing to see where we have to be at, depending on the condition, depending if it's insured or not insured or whatever. All right. So now let me get back to it. You have all your properties. You're looking at them. You got all the reduced properties. You got the investor properties, reduced properties, and now you can kind of pick and choose. You're going to take the address, you're going to search in Zillow, you're going to figure out, or Redfin, and figure out how many days on market they're going to be, and that will kind of determine your percentage of asking price that you can offer. Now, I have talked to people that get properties tied up at 30% of asking price. I know people pick it up at 50% and 60% of asking price. Like I said, it just depends on your area. It's something that you will have to test, and then and share that information with with whoever, your realtor, whatever, however you're going to do the bidding. All right, so now you have all these things. Now, for you to bid, right, you have to work through an NAID registered broker. Okay, an NAID registered broker. Now, an NAID registered broker, you can look right on the site, and you can search for an NAID registered broker right off the HUD website. And it'll give you a list of everybody in your current market that has that registration. Now, let me make something clear. You don't have to work with the actual broker. You can work with an agent that is working under that broker. I'll give you an example. My wife works for a company here locally. The broker is a NAID licensed HUD agent where he can actually bid on HUD homes. But because he's the broker and my wife is an agent that works under him, then she has the NAID registration code that you'll need to use to submit offers. Okay, or your agent will actually submit the offers. But in this case, my wife will submit offers for me, and I kind of tell her what to submit them for, and she submits them in. Okay, so you will have to have an NAID licensed broker. Now, I'm not going to get into exactly how to find him and what to say and how to negotiate with him and all that type of stuff on this particular podcast, but I do get into it in detail on the HUD flipping course on exactly what that is. But the bottom line is this, is that you got to find an NAID registered broker. Next thing is that what you're going to do is look at the properties and kind of determine which ones you want to bid on based upon how many days they have been on market. Now, there's also a different threshold. Now, a threshold meaning how low HUD will accept the offer. If the property is insured, it means that it's in a better condition and you could get financing on it. If the property is uninsured, it means that you cannot get financing on the property. It's a cash-only transaction. Now, those particular deals that have been reduced and they're cash-only, you can get them at a lower LTV. What LTV that is just depending upon your market and what your market will bear. Okay? So, That's what you target first. Our properties are investor, they're reduced, and are uninsured, and those where you can get the best deal on them for submitting bids. All right, so now what you do is you go in, you can click Submit Bid. Okay. Now, what your agent will do, your NAID registered agent, what they'll do is you can send them the address to the property, and you can send them the price you want to bid for the property. And what they can do is they'll submit that bid, and then they'll have a confirmation immediately that the bid has been submitted, and they can look into their internal dashboard, and it will tell them that it's a sealed bid. Now, usually by 1 o'clock the next day, within less than 24 hours, they will know if that bid has been accepted, another bid has been accepted, or it's been canceled by the AM, which is the asset manager. If it's been canceled, you didn't get the deal. So what I'm going to do is give you a little strategies now on bidding for your agent, some instructions you can give for your agent. First one is that you pick your percentage LTV and you track that. So if one day you bid 51%, the next day you bid 52%, or maybe you jump it to 56%. Make sure you're bidding either at 51, 56, 61, 66, just over a threshold of like an 80% or 81%. Okay. So now what you're going to do is they're going to bid it. They're going to pay cash. And then they're going to bid your number. Let's call it, $32,500, whatever that number is, at 56%. And then they're going to put in $0 for concessions. Okay, that means are you asking for concessions? Meaning, do you want HUD to pay any of your closing costs? You want to put 0. Now, when it comes to agent commissions, right, you can negotiate with your agent to have them do a reduced commission if you want, and then pay them on the sale of the property down the road. You could do that if you want. That's what I do with my wife. What I do is with her is I have her just cover the brokerage fees, and then obviously we're in one family here, so the money comes in and we do whatever we're going to do with it once we sell the property. So you can arrange that with the broker. You can say, listen, let's do a reduced commission. Once I sell the property, I'll give you another commission on the back end for selling it. You can do that if you want. So then what you're going to do is you're going to check the box for backup. Okay, you want to make sure you are in the place of a backup, because if HUD accepts an offer from somebody else and they don't submit the paperwork within 24 hours, then what's going to happen is they're going to go to the backup bid, and that backup bid could be you, and then you'll get an email confirmation that you got accepted from that particular contract in-house. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is be a business or an individual, and then they'll have you fill out all your information, and then you're going to confirm the bid. Then you're going to confirm the bid. It's going to give you all the information about the bid, so you can review it prior to clicking the actual submit bid. You have to check a box, and then you're going to click the submit bid button. Okay, then once you do that, then the bid is in. Okay, the bid is in. Now, you'll know within 24 to 40, no, actually my fault, you'll know in less than 24 hours, by 1 o'clock the next day usually, that your bid was accepted with an AC, canceled with a CA, that means they just canceled it. OBS means that it was other bids selected, and that's pretty much it, which ones they'll know. So what's going to happen is you'll know within 24 hours if you got it or not. If you did get it, then your agent will get an email confirmation. What they typically do is they'll forward on to you with a confirmation that your bid was accepted, and then great. Now what you're going to have to do is you got 24 hours to submit the correct documentation along with a proof of funds letter and along with a cashier's check. Okay? And it has to be overnighted and received within 48 hours of an accepted bid. Now, this is where you got a little bit of running around to do to get to make sure your bid is accepted. Now, they have all the paperwork there. They have all the investor packages there, everything on the site that could be downloaded. And actually, it comes in an email form from the asset manager who's managing that particular property. You'll get an email confirmation with the investor package you can fill out. Now, the investor package has to be filled out specifically and exactly, or they will reject your bid. It even has to be in blue ink. Okay? So the bottom line is that you want to make sure it's filled out correctly, or otherwise you're toast. Okay? The next thing you got to do is you have to is you have to have a proof of funds letter. Now, you can get a proof of funds letter at coastalfunding.com, and just you can submit a proof of funds letter. Now, let's talk about earnest money deposit. Your earnest money deposit is your deposit on the property. If the property's at $50,000 and under, it'll be a $500 deposit. $50,000 and more, it'll be a $1,000 deposit. Now, once you get that, you'll have a once you submit that over there, they will get a confirmation via FedEx that they received the package. Then they'll go review the package, and then you'll get an email stating package has been successfully completed, there's no error omissions, and we're sending it off to escrow. And then you'll get all the escrow information. Okay. Now, once that happens, you'll have a 15-day inspection period from executed contract. Okay. Now, what I typically do is you have to know your market. You want to make sure you bid on these things and make sure you know you can sell them. And then once you know you can, once you get a good grasp on your market and you know what you can sell these suckers for, then you can be confident that you can sell it. Okay, so you have a 15-day inspection period, and then after that you get a 45 days to close on the deal. Okay, so you have some time to be able to put together to be able to get these things flipped out and marketed to a buyer. Now, I'm not going to get into how to market the property and how to sell it. If you've listened to my other episodes, it's the exact same procedure. You will have an email list of buyers. You're going to email it out to your buyers. There are ways to prep the property to show it in its best light and get the pictures and put it out there and stuff like that. But the bottom line is, once you have it under contract in your escrow, then you can start marketing the property for sale. Okay, and now what happens if you can't sell it? Well, guess what? You'll lose your $500 to $1,000. So just make sure you can sell the property prior to bidding on it. What I found is if you are marketing the property under the list price by a little bit, you can sell the property and you can get it sold quickly. Okay, because typically HUD markets the properties at or low bank-owned prices anyways. So those are where most of the cash transactions happen anyways, and they typically, you can get them under contract for that. Okay, so now you're in contract, now you're marketing it, now you're going to line up a buyer. The buyer's going to come in, and what you're going to have to do is work with a transactional funder. Now, transactional funding will basically give you funds for one day, subject to you having a buyer lined up and having them fund the transaction. So you're going to bring another contract, the buy-side contract, to escrow. You're going to tell them that you're going to sell them the property once you close on it. And they're going to say, okay, you're going to work with a transactional funder. They're going to fund it, everything, all the closing costs, all the fees, everything needed to close it out. And then you're going to essentially own the property for less than 30 seconds, and then you're going to sell it to your end-user buyer. Now, that end-user buyer will have $2,500 non-refundable, and they will have the transaction funded, so literally it can close and fund same day. And that's what... and you'll make the difference, obviously, but between you actually your contract and what you have actually sold it for. Now, talking to people in different areas like Georgia and Illinois and Chicago and stuff, people are making anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000. The ones I'm pretty much averaging anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000 on the flips that I'm doing on the HUD homes that I flip. So that is a way to where you can get the deals done without using any cash or any credit. Now, the earnest money, if you're worried about the earnest money, well, you can borrow that earnest money, because think about this. Typically, you need the earnest money up front and a proof of funds letter to submit offers on REO properties. Here, what's great is you'll have a deal tied up. You'll have it locked up and ready to go, and then you can go to your person and say, hey, listen, I got this deal accepted. It's sweet. Here's the comps. Here's what the price is. All I need is $500 or $1,000, and then we can turn around and flip it, and I'll give you $1,000 back plus another $1,000 on top of it, or whatever you want to negotiate with them, you can. But this is a way to where you can go out and literally pluck deals off a website, get them accepted, and then turn around and sell them and make huge profits, $5, $10, $15, $20,000, depending on the market that you're in. Now, the other great thing about HUD Homes is you can do it virtually. You can find an NAID registered broker in a different state. You can submit bids in a different state, and you can work with the other wholesalers in that market because they have buyers lists, and you can turn around and sell it through them and split the profits or do some sort of profit margin split or whatever you want to do. But you can do that as well because a lot of people don't know how to do this in other markets, and don't pass on this episode so they can learn. So, but that is flipping HUD Homes. Okay, it's a viable option. It's an awesome option. It's great. The asset manager on the other side, they're not going to care if you submit 100 times on the same property. All they do is they collect all the bids. They look at the highest, and all they care about is the net to them. The highest number to them is going to be their determining factor if they're going to accept it or not. So if you have one bid that comes in that's $50,257 and one is $50,252. Well, guess what? The one for $50,257, if it meets their threshold, will get that bid and they will be accepted. They'll accept it. They'll move on. They won't even look back. Now, you could be submitting, 10, 15, 20 bids. I have submitted, 5, 10, 15 bids on the same property, starting off at 51% and slowly moving my way up until I can get an acceptance on the property. Okay. Now, if I know a property is in a hot area, in a hot market, in a highly desirable, the house is in good condition, it has all the qualities, then I'll bid aggressively on it, anywhere from 88 to 91%. Usually 91% can get the deal done. But you just got to make sure you can make your margins and that you sell it slightly at or slightly under the current list price, so you're actually adding value to the transaction. It's difficult to sell them over list price, even though you can, depending on how low the price is on the initial opening, how much the opening bid is that they're asking for it. Whew. All right, that's HUD Homes. That's a lot of information. Now, I can tell you, I actually have a course we just launched right now where it goes through in detail on exactly. We're actually closing it down, so you're probably listening to this and it's going to be closed by the time you hear it. But just stay tuned. Go to Flip to Freedom Academy or go to flip2freedom.com. Get on the email list, and I'll be sending email updates on exactly how you can participate in this training course on exactly how to flip HUD Homes. Just go to flip2freedom.com and you can get some more information about that, and we can send it over to you. Okay? So now, that is flipping HUD Homes. All right. So now I want to tell you a real quick funny story before you get off here. If you don't know already, I have a house in Southern California, in Dana Point, California, and we go out there for the summers. We go out there in pretty much all the month of July, a little past July, and we just go hang out at the beach. It's where it's located. It's located right by the Ritz-Carlton in Dana Point, and located right off the PCH, and also located right by the St. Regis Resort, which is phenomenal. It's a gated community. They have a bluff overlooking the ocean. We actually flew in for 4th of July with a bunch of friends. I flew in Dungeness crab from Baltimore, and we actually boiled it and cooked it right overlooking the bluff for 4th of July. It was 4th of July weekend. It was so much fun. We had such a great time, and it's a blast. And it's a kind of a way where, you know what, I busted out all year, and then for the summers, we literally just hang out. We hang out at the beach. There's tennis courts, pools, everything. It's phenomenal. So anyways, I was driving out there for the summer. I drove out there with my family. I dropped them off with all the stuff. I came back. I had to close up a couple deals, and I had to pick up my dogs, my wife and my kids. And I got a daughter that's 9 years old, another daughter that's 12 years old, and they're absolutely animal lovers, and they just love animals. So I went back, and they could not live without our 3 crazy mangy mutts. Okay, now these dogs are. We'll get into what these dogs are, but you'll laugh. But anyways, so what happened was I go back, I got my Range Rover, and I'm going back to pick up the dogs, get everything else they need, and then head out back to California for the entire month. So I have one dog that is It's a Papillon, if you know what that is. It's a little tiny, like 2-pound dog. And I'm telling you, I didn't pick out the dog. It's not my dog. It's my daughter's dog. She wanted it. She had to have it, and we bought this dumb dog, and she absolutely loves this thing. It's a cute little thing, but there is no way I'm going to walk down the street with a Papillon. So we get a Papillon. Then we got an American Eskimo, and this American Eskimo is 16 years old. This American Eskimo, his name's Bailey, and the other one's name's Bling, if you could believe that. So Bailey is old as all heck, grumpy old man, and he can't see barely. He can't hear a word at all, and he just kind of walks around the house. But we can't put him down. We just, we've had him forever. He's been part of the family. He's a great, great, great dog. So. And then we have another dog called Trixie, who is actually a stray at one of my wife's listings. We all went there. We were helping her stage the house, and a dog came up, was scraggly, a mess, skinny. And we literally went around the whole entire neighborhood to try to find its home. We put signs up everywhere. Nobody called, and someone must have just abandoned the dog. So we actually took it in, and it became actually a great little dog. It's a little terrier that we've taken in. So I got these 3 dogs, and then my daughter Ava calls up and says, "Daddy, can you please bring the fish Jojo?" So I'm like, "Oh my gosh, here, okay, great." So now I got to bring the beta fish Jojo. So I've got the fish in my Range. I got my Range Rover stacked with stuffed with all this other stuff that they need, and I got my Range Rover. I've got my beta fish named Jojo. I got the Papillon named Bling. I've got the terrier named Trixie, and I got the American Eskimo named Bailey. Okay, and now I'm hiking across the desert from I-10, driving from Phoenix, Arizona to Dana Point, California. It's about a 6-hour drive to take it. So I just want to bolt and get there as fast as possible because I don't want to stop and let these crazy dogs out, run around, have to chase them. So I gassed up. I went straight. I stopped once. I filled up with gas. I got a drink of water, and bam, I was gone. And I made it in about 5.5 hours. So I get into the neighborhood. It's, like I said, it's a gated community. I go in, and I'm driving up, and our property is like in a little cul-de-sac, type of little cul-de-sac with a big, circle where there's some parking spaces and stuff, and then the houses are, in that circle there. And so I drive up, and I pull up in front of our house, and I open the door. Now, I got to tell you, my wife's sister lives at this house, our house here in California, full time. She works at Disneyland, and she lives there full time. She pretty much, takes care of the house and pays all the utilities and stuff like that. It's like a, family, like little beach house. So, and she has a big dog, and that dog's name is Lily. Big dog, fastest dog in the world, and beautiful dog, right? Great dog. This is a big husky dog, not like my little midget dogs. So, anyways, I'm pulling in here, and I pull up in front of the house, and I open the garage door, and boom, there goes Lily flying out the door about 100 miles an hour, and she takes off, right? And she bolts, and she just takes off. I thought she was locked up, but for some reason she wasn't. She just took off. So I'm like, oh, great. So I open the door. Trixie and Bling, they jump out. One of them bolts one way. Trixie bolts one way down the street. Bling bolts the other way, the little Papillon, down the other side of the street. So I'm like, holy cow. I got 3 dogs. I got a big one that took off. I got the little 2 ones that took off. So I'm yelling at the top of my lungs at these dumb dogs to get back to the house, right? So I'm sitting there trying to chase little Bling around, and she's like I said, like 2 pounds. And so I'm trying to chase her around, chase Trixie around, yelling at him, get back in the house. Well, I turn around, and I look, and Bailey, the 16-year-old American Eskimo, jumps out of the side of the car and lands smack on his chest. Now, the poor guy is, he's old as could be, can't see, can't hear, he's crusty as all heck, and he's splat right on the thing from my car. He jumps out of the window and jumps right on the thing. I couldn't believe it. And he's just laying there. I mean, I know he's got to be dazed going, what the heck am I doing, right? So I'm like, holy cow. So I kind of forget about the dogs. I run over, I grabbed poor Bailey, and I'm like, oh my God, you okay, dog? If I broke something? So I picked him up, and he was okay. So then I go chase over Bling and Trixie, getting down, and then Bailey starts walking and trotting down the little cul-de-sac. So I'm yelling at him at the top of my lungs, Bailey, come on, right? But he's deaf, so he can't hear me. So I finally got Bling and I got Trixie. Lily still ran out, the big dog. She still ran out and is running around, and she's just trying to avoid everything. So I grab Bling, I grab Trixie, and I tie them up. And as I'm tying them up, I look out of the corner of my eye, and I see Bailey pooping right in the middle of the cul-de-sac. Now, I'm going to tell you, this dog's 16 years old, and he stinks so stinking bad. It's ridiculous. So I'm like, dude, I just got to California. It's a beautiful day here in Dana Point, and you come out, you jump out of the window, then you poop, and you ruin the place. I'm like, jeez. So I'm freaking out. I got the other dogs. I finally get Lily. I get Lily all tied up. Everything's good there. So now I'm sitting there going, holy cow, now I got to go get a pooper scooper and go pick up this poop before anybody comes through. So I run in the house. I go grab a pooper scooper. I come flying out of the house, and I'm standing there in front of the house with a pooper scooper, and guess what? A car comes. I'm like, oh man, you got to be kidding me. So the car comes, runs through the poop that stinks to high heaven, and turns around and basically just carries it through the entire cul-de-sac. So I'm sitting there, and now there's poop all over the entire cul-de-sac. Our dog Bailey's still wandering around, and the entire place just reeks of just dog crap. Excuse my language. But anyways, that was my entry into California this summer. Now, why am I telling you this stupid story about dogs? First off, it's hilarious. It's funny, and it was absolutely chaotic. But I'm telling you a story about dogs because of this. Is that first off, I like little terriers and Bling. They're all cute and stuff like that. But I'm going to tell you what my favorite dog is. My favorite dog in the whole entire world is a bulldog. Okay? Now, here is why I like a bulldog. Because if you ever noticed, a bulldog's nose is kind of turned up. Okay? Their nose is turned up straight. Now, a bulldog's nose is turned up for one reason. That means when they grab on to your leg or my leg or whatever they want to grab onto, they can still breathe. That means they are not letting go of their goal, or they're not letting go of their whatever they've got in their mouth. They hang on, and they hang on tight, and they can still breathe. See, and this is the thing. This is the thing things with most people that are unsuccessful. You know what? They listen to the podcast, they go through the information, they go, oh my gosh, this is incredible, this is great, and they see another shiny object, oh, maybe I should do this, and maybe I should do that, maybe I should do commercial, maybe I should do this, is that they don't hang on. The problem is they hang on for 2 seconds, and all of a sudden they go, oh, I got to let go now because it's too difficult. Well, I can tell you this. I said this business is difficult. It's going to take work. It's going to take you busting your butt. And it's going to take you digging in with your teeth and breathing through your nose and not letting go. Don't ever let anybody tell you that it's easy to go out and get rich. Because it's not. There is no easy push-button mechanism. There's no easy, okay, all I got to do this, and this, and it's simple. No, it takes work putting bids on HUD homes. It takes work getting them under contract. It takes work getting the education. It takes work getting over the fear. It takes work prepping the property. It takes work selling the property. And it takes work lining up everything to make sure it closes smoothly. And it takes work to do it. And I don't want to mislead you at all for the fact that it takes work to get rich. And if anybody ever tells you otherwise, then run the other way. Because the bottom line is this, is that if it was easy, first off, it wouldn't be worth it. Have you ever had a project you've ever done that was super easy? That's not satisfying. That's not, you don't finish a super easy project and go, It's the projects that you had to accomplish that took blood, sweat, and tears. It took everything you got to make happen. And when you accomplished that goal, there was the thrill. It was the absolute thrill of accomplishment that you did it. Those are the accomplishments that you cherish, not the super easy ones. My coach in high school, when I played high school football, he said, you have got to be, and I think he got this from Vince Lombardi, is that when you are done a game, you have to be absolutely exhausted. You can't even feel like getting up off the football field to even move to go grab a drink of water. You have got to give it everything you've got. See, and people get into flipping houses or get into real estate, or they hear all these real estate gurus that talk about how you can make all this money, and then they go, oh my gosh, I'm going to get rich and I can do this. And then you know what happens? This is the biggest problem in America right here. They get started on something and they hit a challenge. And oh my gosh, they hit a challenge, and then they quit. Well, you've heard this many times before. Quitters will never win, and winners never quit. So you got to decide what you're going to be. Are you going to be a winner, or are you going to be a quitter? But stop whining and complaining. Oh, this doesn't work. I don't get it. I sent out yellow letters. I tried to put offers, and it's just not working. You know what? We got to get a backbone. We have to stop acting like jellyfish and get a backbone. And grab onto your goal and grab onto your dream with passion, with your nose stuck up so you can breathe, and don't ever let it go like a bulldog. And if you do that on whatever passion you pursue, I can guarantee you success. You know where you're going to fail? You're going to fail because you're going to get excited about something, and then you're going to do it, and it's not going to work out like you thought, or your expectations, and then you're going to quit. That's just plain stupid. That's what happens. I can pretty much tell from talking to someone if they're on the path of failure or the path of success because of their attitude. You know, Norman Vincent Peale said attitude. Attitude is the key. So what is attitude? Attitude is making a decision and making a commitment and not giving up and just saying, you know what, I'm going to get mad. I'm going to get mad and I'm going to pursue this dream. I don't care what it takes. I'm going to make it work. I don't care if I have to contract 100 properties, and if I can't sell 100 properties, I'm going to figure out what works for me in this market. Because the bottom line is this, is flipping houses works. Real estate wholesaling works. Fix and flip real estate, it works. They all work. I'm making money off it. I've got students making money off it. The bottom line is it works. So the question is, do you work? If you work the system, you will get the results. As long as you never, ever give up and you hang on to your dream like a passion, just like a bulldog does his dream. So if you want more from me, go to flip2freedom.com, flip2freedom.com, and make a decision today. Instead of being a quitter, being a winner. Because winners will never quit on your dreams. Take care, and God bless.